All right,
Okie doke.
welcome everybody to the See You Next Season podcast. I'm Matt. I'm here with this cat Ian over in Australia. This is episode 14, and we're going to go ahead and give you a little bit of a language warning here just to start. We will keep it a bit neat and tidy, but we are going to talk about why hiring in the ski industry is a shit show. Okay. Uh, and we've chosen that term, I guess, carefully. And we might hurt a few feelings here. We don't mean to, but we really have to have a serious conversation about this. So recently we did a survey, and Ian, I'm going to let you start by talking about some of those main stats quick.
Yeah, all right. One of the most obvious problems is the number of resumes people are sending. And one of the stats shows that the average number of resumes received per job opening is 39, which is a very, very high amount. And it's significantly higher in Canada. They're over the 50 mark. So yeah, there's some really disturbing figures coming out of Canada. Um, there's a huge rejection rate of resumes. So the majority of employers are rejecting 75% plus of resumes automatically because the candidates don't have the necessary qualifications, experience, or visa. That figure is 91% in Canada. So yeah, just really, there's a lot of junk resumes floating out there. I mean, this is how bad it is. We get sent resumes all the time saying, hey, I'd really love to be a ski instructor in your ski school, or I'm interested in working at your hotel. And I'm like, Matt, do we own a ski school or a hotel?
Last time I checked, that's a big no.
Unfortunately, we don't. But this is just demonstrates how kids don't actually read the job applications. They don't do their research. They just start blasting resumes out everywhere. And it's a big problem.
Yeah, what was the social media was the number one place to find staff and the worst platform when it comes to quality. It's
Yeah, that was a really obvious stats coming from all around the world. The ski industry is finding new staff, especially off social media,
yeah,
and they're generally terrible staff. They're not terrible people, but they're terrible staff because people are connecting based on timing because they're looking at social media or advertising on social media at the same time. So that's how the connections are made. They're not connecting due to suitability, and
yeah.
it's a big problem. So yeah, that was a very obvious statistics that we saw, very consistent right across every nation that has a ski industry.
Yeah. I noticed, yeah, Stockholm syndrome. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
I mean, the hiring managers are held hostage to social media, but yeah, it's not good for them.
yeah, yeah, doing something in your own worst interest. It's like, yeah. Okay, so let's go through 14 key reasons. We're going to do seven ridiculous things essentially job hunters do, and seven crazy ways that the hiring managers are trying to find staff right now. So, uh, you get started out with job hunter reason number one, Ian.
Oh, it's the resume blast. I mean, this is just causing all the problems. It's the start of all the problems. People, as I mentioned before, they don't read the job descriptions. It's a fake it till you make it society. People are sending out their resumes. 45, or was it 46% of job hunters will send their resumes out, even though they don't have the necessary skills, qualifications, or visa. I mean, this is just causing massive problems for hiring managers. It's also a complete and utter waste of time and completely counterproductive. So let's take a scenario where a job hunter sends out their resume to a company and they don't have the necessary qualifications. That company's automatically dismissing them. And then the company advertises a bit later for a job that's perfect for the job hunter. They've blown it. They can't resubmit their resume. They've already flagged that they're a time waster. So yeah, it's completely counterproductive. Doesn't serves no purpose whatsoever. So we're asking job hunters to don't do it. Just simply do not do it.
Yeah, because it's creating a what? Shit
Oh, it's
show.
a shit show. It's like um Just crazy stuff. And the other crazy stuff is job hunters putting up their resumes on social media.
Mm.
Two things. It's highly ineffective. We noticed that our survey results show it's only effective in 5% of occasions. So 19 out of 20 times, it's completely useless, leads nowhere. We also know that it's especially useless if you're looking for an entry level position. It may help if you're an executive chef or somebody who comes with really good skills, but for entry level, yeah, it's completely and utterly useless. The other thing is it opens yourself up to identity fraud. I mean, you are putting up very personal details, your date of birth, your contact details, etc. You're just asking to have your identity stolen and then used by nefarious groups.
Yeah, they're doing it now, fake rentals and all kinds of stuff. So, yep. So, employer, reason one, please stop making it so easy for people to apply. Like if you know, your pitch is a post on social media. I mean, I guess there's going to be two problems. One, it may not be compliant for sure, and two, um, I mean, what do you, it's just what you email me your resume, like I mean, you're just going to get flooded with stuff. It's just mind-boggling. It's such a terrible way to do it, especially when you have platforms like ours. They'll do it all for you. How about job hunter
Oh,
reason
can
two?
I
Or do you
jump
want to
in?
add
Can
something
I
on? Go
just
ahead.
Yeah, jump back in. If your call to action on your social media job ad is email me your resume, you're naturally going to attract very lazy people. You're
Yep.
making it way too easy for people to apply.
Yep.
Really, yeah.
Yep. Okay. Job hunter reason two. What do we got?
Oh, what have I got? Yeah, stop chasing jobs and that dream season in the famous ski resort. You have an adventure. Don't, places like Whistler drives me nuts because basically you've got kids streaming in there from all over the world in October and November looking for housing, which just isn't there. And, 100Ks are just down the road. There's great resorts there who need people. I mean, you just do your research and stop following people into those famous resorts when there's chronic housing problems. Nobody wins when some kid goes broke when they're 19 and they've saved up all their money to go have a great adventure, and they go broke and home before Christmas because they don't want to be homeless in a ski town.
Yeah, it's not good. Um, so reason two for employers here, one of the things that we see a lot is this is a deep conversation here. We got to get real about this. Be honest about your town's problems. I mean, we've got to start talking more and be more transparent about the housing issues. You know, like you mentioned, you don't want to bring these young people there and put them in financial straits, sending them home. I mean, what the heck? It's just not, we've got to talk about it. I mean, for example, the press release Vail did last week, and I'm not going to harp on them because I do want them to succeed, but you got to help us help you. I mean, the article that was posted about the new Evervale getting built, and I mean, at the end of the article, there was a brief mention about employee housing. I mean, one of the first things mentioned is new shops and restaurants and this and that. And I'm like, seriously? Like, I'm not even sure why that's being mentioned in that project and why employee housing isn't at the very top. It should be priority one. So I don't know. What do you think, Ian?
Well, I'm not gonna harp on Vale, but I'm gonna congratulate some of the resorts that have done the right thing and
Yep.
have really set themselves up to attract great staff down the track. So, I mean, you've got, Big White, great stuff, 128 new beds opening up this season. Revelstoke, 600, massive, huge project to
Yep.
to to put their staff up. These guys are going to be able to attract great staff. If your resort is behind the eight ball on housing, you're going to struggle finding staff. It's as simple as that. The Grollo Group in Australia, they've got 1,500 beds in their 3 Victorian ski resorts. Amazing stuff.
Hmm.
Now, where does that leave the New South Wales resorts just across the border who have chronic housing problems? I know if I'm a ski worker, I'm going to Victoria, and yeah, we don't know what's going to happen in New South Wales resorts next year. It's they could really struggle. They could be trying to run ski resorts on an absolute skeleton staff.
Yep. Yep. Nope. Great points. Love it. So let's jump to job hunter reason three. And this is one that we see a lot of. First impressions count, the photos. I'll touch real quick on things that are unacceptable in certain cultures, like if you're going to go to Japan, no visible tattoos, piercings. It's definitely not a cultural norm there. So, and just the other photos of abuse of alcohol and such things, it's just not a good idea.
Yeah, the survey results showed that uh, 50% of employers are really nervous about hiring young people because they're perceived as party animals. So
Mm,
any photo that gives off a party animal vibe is really doing yourself harm in terms of your job hunting. Interesting to see that Australians tolerate the young party animals a little better than the other countries. Japan, we didn't quite get enough results from the survey to do a country specific analysis for Japan, but anecdotal evidence suggests that they are really red hot on people who come across as party animals.
yeah,
By the way, the surveys are still open. We'll add some details about that, so feel free to complete those if you're an employee or
yeah,
an employer.
heck yeah. So employers, reason number three, this is, again, a shit show. Uh, get off the Facebook. You know, Ian can talk about some more of the stats too, but I agree with what he says a lot that, it's really your last port in a storm, not your first option. You got to plan a little bit. We know the timing's been off in the survey as far as when employers are hiring versus when young adventure seekers are looking, right?
Absolutely. One of the major problems with advertising on social media and collecting all those resumes is young people who are replying to your job ad are also replying to dozens and dozens of others, and they're doing multiple interviews and they're taking multiple jobs. So when they don't show up and you've advertised on Facebook, you really shouldn't be surprised. They've just taken another job elsewhere
Yeah.
and they haven't told you, they've ghosted you. It's like I say it's like
Mm.
Tinder. If you're not interested in somebody, I'm not a Tinder user myself, by the way. I've got to say that. But if you're not interested in somebody, you don't tell them that you're not interested. You just don't mention it to them. And this is what's happening in the ski industry. If somebody's not going to show up for a job, they're not going to ring you up and tell you about it. They're just not going to show up. And that causes a lot of chaos further down the track. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that all flows down to ops and HR, and it just makes a big mess for everybody down below. So,
yeah. And it really impacts your paying customers too.
guest experience, of course, at the end of the day, one of the most important things, but so many things are not being done to really support when someone says we're about guest experience, but the actions aren't congruent with, you know, having appropriate employee housing. So people are successful, set them up for success just at a housing level. So anyway, okay, job hunters reason four, be realistic. Uh, let's just throw it out there. Stop bullshitting on your resume. Can't fake it till you make it when you're skiing, and a number of other things. If you're a chef or took a job as one and you happen to not be one, it's not going to go well. So,
Yeah, a couple of other things is
yeah.
you take a job on mountain job and you can't ski to save your life. How
Hmm.
do you get to work? I mean, these you can't fake these things. If you've
Yeah.
got if your job involves driving a heavy piece of machinery and you don't have the necessary license, you, you can't do it. And you basically you run the risk of being fired straight away. You
Yeah.
can't train on the job a lot of the time. You might, if you're very lucky, they might shift you across to a different department. But generally, it's it's out the door straight away.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and the Brits and the EU, do you want to talk about Brexit for a second?
Oh yeah, just I mean, we see so many super young Brits on gap years wanting to do a season in Europe, and they're looking for entry level jobs. It's unrealistic to think that you'll get those jobs ahead of a local person where the employer doesn't have to do the really onerous paperwork to get you through the season. It's so
Yes.
much easier for them to hire a local person.
Yeah.
And so for those people, we suggest, hey, try a different option. You're probably not going to get a job in Europe, but why not try Japan or head off to Canada and do it right?
Yeah. Well, and like employers, so reason number four for you is that getting the timing right. We just chatted about it a second ago, but do you want to touch on that the season offset we're seeing?
Yeah, what we noticed in the survey results is that seasonal workers are looking for jobs way earlier than the industry is starting to advertise. So, especially in countries with poor housing and a long visa application process. So, we know that when people do get their visas, they immediately start doing their job hunting. And so, for a place like Canada, that can be in April or May or June looking for winter work, and the industry's just not ready for them because they're worried about, they're trying to hire for summer, but it's something the industry should be really mindful of. Are you missing out on great candidates because you're not ready for them?
Right. Yep. That's a problem.
Oh,
Uh,
Australia's really bad as well. I gotta put that one out there.
yeah.
Leaves it the ski industry in Australia leaves it way too late.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Seen that a time or two or more. Okay, so job hunters, reason five, uh, AI resumes are no good. And we can talk about a number of reasons here why. But one of the things that I've mentioned too is, a lot of these ATS systems built into HR systems that can auto reject things, you know, it's kind of like this volleying of, let's just say it, shit show back and forth. One group's auto rejecting resumes that don't fit, and the other one's auto generating resumes so they can blast it to 100 employers, right? So it's like this volleying battle going on, and it's really working out poorly at the moment, you know?
Yeah, the survey result shows 60% of employers automatically reject AI generated resumes, AI generated cover letters.
Mm,
I'd go way higher than that. I mean, I'd automatically reject them nonstop because basically kids are using AI to create resumes um, to get through systems to maximize their chances of getting an interview.
mhm.
And so the resumes don't actually reflect the qualities of the candidate. Um, yeah, it's a big problem. Um, and that
We
that has consequences down the track when the season's open.
Yeah. Well, and you can talk about employers, reason number five here, communicate better. So you were just talking about it. So if you want to keep touching on that a bit.
Oh yeah, the one of the key reasons why it's such a mess is because young job hunters don't know where they stand. This is especially the case in Canada. We noticed that the response rate to job applications in Canada is incredibly low. So what happens is when kids don't get a response, when they don't know where they stand, they just blast out more resumes. They just send them out. Um, and they apply for more and more jobs, creating bigger and bigger headaches further down the track. I mean, a simple automated system where you say, thanks, we have received your resumes. We will be making decisions on, say, September 15 and notify candidates who are successful. We will also notify unsuccessful candidates. Really basic stuff like that it stops kids from ringing up employers saying, "Oh, I'm doing a quick follow up on this," when or emailing them and bugging you nonstop. Let the kids know how where they stand. It's a simple thing to do to just set up a very simple automated responses.
Yeah. Yeah, it is even at a basic level. I mean, I encourage employers to go beyond that, but even at a basic level, automate at least some communication. So there's some a touch point, whatever. It's not only important, for the lens on your organization, but it's just it saves you a whole lot of headache. So
Yeah, yeah,
um,
bare minimum, acknowledge that you've received a resume from somebody. I
right,
mean, they're not going to ring 3 days later saying, "Hey, did you get my resume?"
right.
What?
So, okay, well, let's touch on job hunters. Reason six, don't be a tire kicker. Show employers intent. Have your visas in place. Sorry, have your flights booked. You know, yeah, it's just you can't expect employers just to go out on a limb. You know,
Yeah, the survey results showed that uh, 20% of people responding were looking at multiple countries,
Mm,
and over half, about 55%, were considering multiple ski towns. So,
yeah,
um, yeah, employers really want to see visas, arrival dates, that sort of stuff. Whether you have accommodation in their town, then they'll start taking you seriously as a job hunter. They
yep.
can spot tire kickers a mile away.
Oh yeah, for sure. So employers, reason six for you all is learn what motivates, seasonal workers. I go back to some of my other statements about, show people what they're looking for. Are they skiers, snowboarders, mountain bikers, surfers, whatever it is? Show them what your resort, your destination, your town, your municipality, whatever it is, what it has to offer, right? They're not flying halfway around the world to make coffee and do housekeeping. Are they going to do that? Yes. Is that their focus for coming there? No. So you got to give them the shared vision, show them what your place is all about and why they should bring their other skills there, right? So you got to have alignment there. We've seen some pretty horrifying ones.
Yeah, if I was writing an ad, the first thing I'd do would be, if I'm writing an ad for a beach job down in Australia, first sentence would be, "Hey, come spend the summer on the beach at such and such," and then get into your job description.
Yep.
Because if you just started, and also kids aren't after a career. A lot of these guys are on gap years, etc. They're actively avoiding a career. Don't pitch that whole have a great career in housekeeping or whatever. That just doesn't work well at all.
You got to meet
Um,
these younger people where they're at.
yeah,
And again,
we
the
the
van life.
results showed that. Sorry, Matt.
Oh no, the
Um,
van life, right? That's another, if it could be a gap year, could be people that are just taking the free road and doing the van life. So anyway, you were saying survey, sorry.
Surveys showed that 60% of people who were rookie seasoneers were only intending to do 1 year.
Mm,
And I could jump back into that van life. Guys, as employers, we've got to really start attracting people back into ski towns, because there's a lot of people, young people, who are choosing options, non-ski town options. The van life phenomenon is huge. It's taking a lot of staff. Oops. Sorry about that. We're going to have to edit this one out. Hey, Annie, can I give you a call back? Before I had to answer that phone call, we were talking about options for young people that are
mm,
not in ski towns. So kids are taking, adopting this van life phenomenon, and
yep,
they used to go to ski towns. There's lots of digital nomads being attracted to places like Southeast Asia. Um,
yep,
there's an estimated 200,000 digital nomads in Bali at the moment. Those guys used to go to ski towns and work ski seasons. So the
yeah,
ski industry really has to consider, um, you know, advertising and getting these kids to be excited about working a ski season. And a lot of them, cost of living pressures means they're paying off student loans or saving for a house. So
yep,
whether there's actually more people willing to work in the ski industry, I'm not sure. I think there's probably less. And just because you're getting a lot of resumes doesn't mean your hiring's right on track.
yep. Well, Do you want to talk for a sec on for job hunters and their reason seven about being realistic?
Oh yeah, yeah. We see a lot of people just after the young kids, just after their dream season. We know they've got their dream season of, hey, I'm going to be a bartender or a chalet host in Whistler or Chamonix and have an amazing season. And they're often chasing really popular jobs in really popular ski towns, and it's not a feasible plan for a
Yeah.
rookie as well, especially a very young rookie. So we see a lot of kids, just being so wedded to this dream season that they actually end up with nothing at all.
Yeah.
Uh, the good thing about having dreams is it's very emotional. It will drive kids to save money for their ski trip, their working holiday ski trip. It'll drive them to get a plane ticket, etc. It'll put them in the ballpark, but then because if they're so wedded to their dream, they can actually lose it all. Again, there's great options 2 or 3 valleys over, or 100 k's down the road. Don't let the perfect be the enemy of a good season.
Yeah. Yep. Good points. So employers for you, reason seven, you know, try to do better about wasting everyone's time. Part of this is why we created See You Next Season in this platform. Um, if you've got ads, Phil, pull them. Putting it on social media, which we talked about a second ago, is another bad idea because you lose control of those ads. Even though you may have pulled it, it could have been shared a lot of other places. And if you're just using an email to have people submit their stuff, you're just going to continuously get bombarded after you've already finished your search or whatever it is you're doing. So, yeah, I don't. What do you want to add there, Ian?
Some of the other huge time wasters is putting up an ad and not having a call to action or contact details,
Yeah,
or a link to a website, to an application portal. Just crazy stuff like that. Um, and then we see it on our site as well. So a classic example in Australia, had a big hotel company own a massive hotel in one of the resorts down in Australia. They had a job ad on our site. Uh, we can sort of track a little bit of the activity on those ads. We saw that they got 13 profiles sent to them, and like great people, and the hiring manager had a rating of -13 on our site, which means they didn't open a single profile. And we
yeah,
saw that I saw that company advertising nonstop throughout the whole season because they were chronically understaffed. So
yeah,
just silly time wasting stuff that wastes employers' time and employees' time and our time as well. I mean, we put up the ad,
yeah,
which is, yeah,
yeah.
just
I guess we're now kind of after covering these 14 points of, let's say it, the shit show. Okay. Where's this going? What's going to happen, Ian? What's your you know genie skills? Where are we going here?
oh, okay. In the short term, so we're recording this in October, late October. When it comes to the ski season, we're expecting a lot of no-shows following the trends that happened in Australia and New Zealand in the Southern Hemisphere winter. We think that that's going to be a combination of how the hiring process happens and also the high cost of livings
Yeah,
situation. We are expecting record numbers of no-shows. Um, and again, that's going to lead to massive understaffing problems and also a more inexperienced teams in resorts, because basically the ski industry keeps losing people due to the cost of living in ski towns, and they're being replaced by rookies. So they're losing experienced people, getting replaced by rookies. That's not a good situation. One of the things that I will point out is, in terms of, we're getting to the stage where a lot of resorts now don't allow their staff to work and live in frugal comfort. And it's becoming a luxury item to work a ski season in these resorts where staff have to dip into their savings or rely on the bank of mum and dad to actually get them through the ski season. So it's becoming a luxury item.
Yeah.
Um, and that's a really dangerous position to be in because these kids who are relying on the bank of mum and dad or dipping into their savings, they're only coming for 1 year because they can't afford to come for two. If your ski town is in that situation, so it's not viable in the long term. You're just going to get some chronic problems, and that is very much going to get reflected in the visitor experience, and it's going to involve some extremely hard and expensive choices to be made further down the track.
Yeah.
It's something to be very mindful of. So if you think your ski town doesn't allow kids to live in frugal comfort and finish the season with the same amount of money as they started with, the warning signs are there.
Yeah.
There's big red flags going on.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely the problem is definitely getting worse. And you mentioned it, but guest experience, it's paramount, number one, probably, and that is gonna be abysmal in my opinion. And it's just going to get worse. So yeah, do you
And
want to take us away, take us out here, finish up?
yeah, I'm just going to say one of the interesting survey results shows that 7% of job hunters in the ski industry are now using AI to distribute their resumes.
Mm,
So that's another massive red flag for the industry. We know that figure is going to jump significantly with the increased uptake in AI. And let's look at what that means. That means kids are going to be scraping Facebook, social media posts, and websites, etc., and putting together a database of employers' contact details, and then blasting out resumes by the hundreds, thousands at a time.
mm,
We suspect that's going to happen in the medium term. And that's going to have massive consequences. Resumes have been around for about 100 years now, and I'm not sure that they're going to be around for another five
yeah.
because they're becoming increasingly irrelevant. They're more likely to be AI generated, less likely to reflect the qualities of the candidate, and they're going to become very annoying. They're going to be like if you own a small business, you get bombarded with search engine optimizations emails from all over the world, nonstop, 10, 15 a day. That's what we could be looking like, what resume sending could be looking like.
Mm,
Um, yeah, are they going to be around in 3 to 5 years' time? I'm not sure. I'd probably predict no.
yeah, I agree. It'll be interesting to see it transition and what comes next, how we get over that obstacle, that hurdle. So, but yeah, I would recommend please get with Ian and I. I'm USA at See You Next Season. Ian is AUS at seeyounextseason.com. Give us a try. We do it right. Like Ian always says, we can't help when the panic sets in, but we can help you plan better, be more strategic and efficient. So, uh, thanks, outdoor adventure community. You all are great. Give us a shout, hit us up. Ian, any final words?
Yep. Last words, business as usual is no longer an option. Um, the industry does have to change. It's unsustainable. Um, you can try and convince yourself otherwise, but that's the reality of the whole situation.
Yep, I agree. Thanks for tuning in to this episode. We'll get with you all soon. Thanks a lot and have a great night.
Thanks, guys. Hi, guys. Just a quick postscript to the podcast. An important thing that we did forget to mention. It's about onboarding and exit strategies for your ski staff. Just remember that the way kids apply for jobs, they're applying for multiple jobs. They may also have multiple offers or get a new offer in their first week or so while they're working for you. So, a really efficient and effective onboarding strategy is really, really important. You don't want these guys leaving in the first week of employment for another job. And exit strategies are really important too. You want to be leaving, you want your staff leaving on good terms. The survey results showed that uh, word of mouth is definitely the best way to find quality staff. and you want your leaving staff to become advocates. They will recommend, if they've had a great time in working for you, they will recommend you to their siblings, their friends, etc. They will become your best advocates. So it's really important to leave well. Thanks, guys. Bye.